Power Negotiator Derrick Chevalier is with us today. Thank you.
It's happy to be here. It's great to be back.
I'm glad you're joining us. So you have written a new book.
Yes. This is the fourth book, and this just came out in November. Very happy. And it really serves as a foundation for the live workshops that we do, which is called Evolve Live. But it's a new form of negotiation. It's a whole new negotiating framework. So I'm really happy.
So if you have an angry boss, you want to, like us, you definitely want to have that power skill?
Sure. There's no one size fits all, right? You have to, the solution has to fit the idiot, so to speak. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
In that way. What you really want to do when you're dealing with an angry person is to understand people are angry, especially if it's your boss. They're angry because it's worked for them, right? I mean, if a person has been successful, and it's worked for them. So the first thing, and this goes beyond the idea, the first thing would be to leave, right? The second thing would be legal and solutions, but the reality for many people is you lose your job.
Well, yeah, and you may like your job, and the only component you don't like is interacting with this really difficult person.
That's true. So one of the things that you want to do is to feed the real need for the anger, which is what? Significance. Most people that are angry are really feeding a need to say, I'm in charge, I'm significant, I know you don't. And it's a way of them feeling better. So what you're looking for is something you had on a guest earlier about fire break. What you're really looking for is an anger break, is a way to retard the anger so it isn't as rewarding as it's been.
Bounce off me and bounce
not give in.
Yeah.
Well, not give in, but there's a couple things. For one, depending on the situation, you can yell back. Depending on if that's what you normally do, you wouldn't do that. But let's say you typically just listen. The pattern interrupt or the fire break would be yelling back. Stop it. Shut up. Interrupt the pattern, which would be so shocking that they would at least no longer get the joy. Second of all, if you're being yelled at all the time, it may be because you don't fight back, and bullies tend to find the weakest one.
I think that's my problem.
Is that
that's why my boss yells at me.
That's it. And the other thing is a really powerful tool called reframing. Are you familiar with that?
Share it with us.
Okay, reframing is really the idea of speaking to somebody. So you listen to your boss, not to the anger, but to the words. And then you would start by saying, so as I understand it, what you're saying is, and then you would repeat what they said exactly as they said it, verbatim.
Ooh, so if they were using nasty language or insulting, they're going to hear exactly what they said.
That would be number one.
Or if they're sounding silly.
That's great.
Well, here's the thing. When most of us sound a lot sillier than we think. The idea of repeating something back, and I'll guarantee everybody at home could do this. If you simply said, well, I think, as I understand it, what you're saying is 99% of the time a person's going to say, no, that's not what I mean.
Right.
And they're going to correct and clarify. So eventually, as a person hears what they're saying through you, they're going to know what I really mean is, and then at the end of the day, you will have influenced them to do exactly what you want them to do. They still think they're in charge, and you get to influence it. But I want to say one thing about anger and angry people. The issue really is that let the anger go, let the person scream, because, and I have no experience with this, as anybody who knows me will tell you, fib. Once the person yells, screams, and explodes, and the adrenaline has gone, generally that person can be walked around like a child by the nose afterwards because they feel stupid.
Okay.
Exactly. It's the guilt that you feel after you've exploded, and especially if somebody hasn't fired back. So I said you'd fire back if you never do that. But just watching somebody and as a rundown, not reacting, because that's what they want, and then waiting, that will give you an opportunity to recalibrate, make a anger break, we'll call it.
Great. Derrick, thanks for joining us. Tell us where we can get your book.
Well, you can go on the website, h-c.com, and it'll be in Barnes & Noble. It'll be everywhere soon.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
All right, thank you so much. I'm glad.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. My privilege.
Come back and give us some more tips on
Good.
difficult people.
Yeah, I look forward to doing that.
Thanks so much.
It's good.
And up next we have our very own Loa Bellucci. Blasucci, not part of the Blues Brothers, and she will be talking about health and fitness and exercise
Yeah,
into the
it's
new year.
It's the new year.
Watch,
Absolutely.
watch coming up next.